freedom, because at the end of the day, they both are in the same thing. What you're willing to live for, you should be willing to die for. And too many people don't talk like that. And I think that it's time we do stand up and defend ourselves and stop taking a weak back approach to waiting for the same systems and people that oppress us to be our saviors. That's just never going to happen. So, that's one thing that I appreciate about you. Whether there's any differences and perspectives and point of views, I think both of our concern is to get our people free. And that's our real approach. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I see when I look at what you're doing. Mistakes and mistakes come, but where's your heart at? And that's what I believe I see when I look at you.
So let me open up first by killing two birds with one stone on your show. And again, I bid shalom to all your viewers that have tuned in for what will be a fruitful conversation between two people that are actually doing work and not talking about work. I think I've drawn a line that unless you're doing some work, I really don't care about what you have to say. If you're going to do some work, I'll be more than happy to then come talk to you while you're doing the work. But if not, you're just a person sitting on the couch with an opinion. Deal with it. Prove us wrong. Do something. So I say that to say this. People have been celebrating Black History Month, and they've been walking around talking about they for the Black movement, and they've been saying this for almost 60 years since they killed the last crop of leaders, Black leaders, or those who were ready to go to the fire. And then for the next 60 years, nobody did anything. I was reading an article in the Chicago Times that they wrote about the NFAC, and I quote, it says, since the dismantlement of the Black Panther Party for self-defense in 1982, no other organization comprised of Black men and women has disrupted America's white comfort. Notice what they said, disrupted their comfort. That means made them shake in their boots, made them not be able to sleep at night, not being able to know what they're going to do next because they know that this exists. It then goes on to say until the NFAC, led by, and then it gives all my accolades, which I'm not going to go into, but maybe I should. It says led by 2016 independent presidential candidate, John Fitzgerald Johnson, known as Grandmaster J, took formation. And there's a whole lot wrapped up in there, so let me unpack some things. If you are the same person that you was 5 years ago, you're dead. You haven't grown any. If you are the same person that you was when you were 5 years old, you really haven't grown, you're dead, and you're a big-ass child. For you to sit there and think that what someone said 5 years ago is relevant to what they're doing now shows just how unintelligent or how uninformed you are. In 2014, I, just like you, was moved by the shootings of Tamir Rice, Romaine Brisbane, Mike Brown, and all the others. But I had a Martin Luther King moment too. If you all don't remember, Martin Luther King stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and said, "Oh, I have a dream," and gave that bullshit ass speech because he said he was caught up in the euphoria of the moment because everybody who had differences had come together to make that happen. MLK didn't make the March on Washington happen. It was several elements that got together and overcame their differences that pulled all those people together, and he gave an iconic speech. 5 years later, isn't this ironic, Meech? 5 years later, after he said, "I have a dream," that all y'all like to throw up, 5 years later, he said in 1968 to NBC, he said, "And I feel that my dream has become a nightmare and we have integrated into a burning house." 2 weeks later, they killed him. 5 years. So if you're going to talk about what I said 5 years ago, trying to run for the presidency, which y'all didn't know about because that was something else that you would sleep about. See, all this stuff that happened while you were asleep, now you walking around trying to address it when a lot of it happened while you were asleep. Where did he come from? You were asleep. I didn't know he ran for president. You were asleep. I didn't know any of these things he was doing. You were asleep. You need to own that. You were asleep. Now you're awake walking around trying to figure out how this all happened in the space of 2 months. It didn't. It's been boiling as long as Meech says that she was found out. I too, what was my turning point was when they killed Romaine Brisbane out in Phoenix, Arizona. The brother that they said had a pistol and all he had was pills in his hoodie, and they killed him in front of his baby mama. That was my breaking point. And then my really breaking point, if that wasn't even more of a breaking point, was the killing of Walter Scott. This guy was a Navy veteran, played the drums in the band, and they shot him in the back 5 times over child support. Now, at that point, I knew that if they wasn't just shooting Ray, Nuck, and Pookie and them in the street, they were shooting down Navy veterans. They were shooting down people like myself that served. They were shooting down real Black folks. No, it was time for us to do something. So back then, I tried it your way. I tried to sing and the holding hands and all of that bullshit. And none of that worked. So then I thought, well, okay, I'll outsmart these motherfuckers because the LGBTQ came in and they stole that movement. So I said, I'm going to go to the White House. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some executive authority like Barack did. And we're going to create some shit to help us. But that didn't work because this racist by the name of Donald Trump bought the goddamn election, blocked everybody out. And that's why in 2020, a lot of y'all just finding out that there were 24 of us that ran for the presidency. You see, you didn't know nothing about that because you was asleep. Now he's letting things get so bad. Just like they asked me on the complex yesterday. They said, how did you go from a presidential candidate to a black power revolutionary? I said 2 words, Donald Trump. That's what. Here's why. Because you got to look at this as soil, people. Can I teach for a minute? Meet you don't mind, do you? You got to look at this as soil. Here's what you got to look at.
Me all the time. Please do.
I have a seed that I can plant in any type of soil. No matter what type of soil I plant that seed in, it's going to bear some different type of fruit. Well, if you had let me plant the seed that I was back in 2015 into the soil that Barack Obama left for us in that particular America, then what would have grown out of that would have been another in a succession of black leaders, like another black president. But since you're planting that same seed in the soil that has been created by the atmosphere of Donald Trump and friends, now you don't get a presidential candidate. You took it back to the 60s. So now you get the same stuff that grew when you had Malcolm and Martin and Stokely and all the whole black movement. That's what you're getting now. No, ain't nobody trying to come with the kumbaya right now because it's obvious to you that by you rolling things back, you're trying to take us out and you're trying to do it old school. You want to have fun doing it again. You want to be able to call us what you want. You want us to be able to do regular stuff that the Civil Rights Bill said that we could do. You want to ride around and start lynching people again. I did a study once to tell you that the origin of lynching is so American that it's ridiculous. It actually came out of the Revolutionary War. There ain't no shit that we ever made up. We don't hang you by a rope. We like to cut you up and set your ass on fire. So we knew there wasn't no shit that we made up. But the bottom line is people today have got to understand that we have entered a time when your talking is ineffective. And as I saw written once, the more you do authentic stuff, the more you reveal who the true fraudulent people are. You see, everybody who's calling me an agent, think about the source of who's telling you that. Because you can go and vet all of my stuff and it checks out. What kind of agent would I be to develop the largest black militia to threaten the shit out of white people in 60 years? What's the object of the operation? To do what? Because none of you motherfuckers is worth infiltrating because you're not doing anything. You launched COINTELPRO against people who are doing shit. We're the ones that found a paid FBI informant in the ranks of INFAC and had to get rid of them. We're the ones that have had to field all these crazy ass questions from all these white media that want to know how many of y'all, where y'all based at, how y'all get together, where's the money coming from, all this bullshit. And then what makes it so worse is y'all let them play a game on you. You see, the white man started to lie. Yes, he did. And then y'all started repeating the lie. And then the white man changed his story and said, no, I was wrong. We over-exaggerated. But you sinister motherfuckers kept on going on with the story. Now y'all don't go so far as lying, just straight out lying. And I don't know whether it's because of fear. I don't know whether it's because of jealousy. I don't know whether it's because you felt like maybe you should have did it and somebody else finally got off their ass and did it. Maybe it's because you just want to keep some mess going because you're really just trying to make money off of motherfuckers with CDs and bullshit ass conventions and all kind of shit instead of doing some real work that might end up putting your raggedy ass life on the line. So no, you hating on this all day. I don't see brothers that I used to look up to that I really respected before I can remember. I'm new in all of this. I don't know none of you dysfunctional motherfuckers out here that call yourselves all in the conscious movement but walking around doing unconscious shit, always talking about the Bible this, the Bible that, acting like the most anti-Bible people I've ever seen. When in the meantime, all I'm trying to do is assemble a group of like-minded people to protect our community, to protect our women, to protect our children, to show y'all how to do some self-policing, to educate on you. And then here's the craziest part of all. White man fuck up all day long. Yesterday, what they had, a tank shot a tank down at the Army base. 9 motherfuckers got shot. Okay, today on the Marine base out in California, 8 motherfuckers got hurt. One of them was dead, 7 of them missing. An accident. Accidents happen. Anytime you're in that type of business, accidents happen. Right? But anything that happens with black people, all of a sudden, y'all want to have a fucking discussion. If I go on one more interview and they ask me, well, what situations made you want to form a black militia? Did anybody ask the white boys that? Do anybody go ask all these other little groups? And another motherfucking thing. Don't be trying to hook me up with some shit because you're afraid of what we're doing. I was saying here on her show, I said it once before, motherfucker sent me a goddamn peace offering. I didn't say I accept this shit, but this a free country. I can't tell a motherfucker where to go. But if you seen the videos, you saw where they went. When we came down to Louisville 3,500 strong. Have you seen the video where they were standing around the corner talking about if we go around there, they gonna wipe our ass out in seconds? Y'all keep on believing these scared ass white people. to think that we're a joke. Keep on buying into that bullshit from all these fake teachers and people who've been making money off of you because we don't ask for a dime. Then somebody done hooked up some bullshit ass video about he said he getting paid. You stupid fuck. I told the nigga to cut the camera off because dude was starting to rag on the church. And that's what I didn't want to get out. No, bro, he was sitting and start dogging churches out on my live. I ain't give a fuck about nobody getting paid. I ain't getting paid shit. I ain't asked y'all for shit, and I don't want nothing but your loyalty and your blood. And a lot of y'all are not ready to give that because you're scared.
That is true. And see, let me say something and go back in what you were saying in the beginning about your transition. This is my problem with people is that when they're in media, especially these people that are in the forefront and you can see them, we can see people's transition. If we go back, we can see your transition. You were giving lives and spitting the same information. I went back and looked before all of a sudden this thing became big. And if people have followed me, for those that have, they know that I went through all those emotions too. When you feel like you want to do something and you don't know what to do. I remember getting out in the streets and going to Black Lives Matter meetings. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I just got out there and started doing something. I attended marches. I attended protests. And in doing those things, that's as I discovered, well, this don't work. This some bullshit. Oh, this ain't really about us. Okay, this ain't getting us nowhere. And it took me in that journey from trying to participate in the things that really today I will speak out on them. So some people could come at me and say, well, Mechee used to go to Black Lives Matter meetings. So what? I did. I was out trying to find a way to get to something that we could find to promote our freedom. And nothing out there was really doing that. It was all this surface. It was just a facade. It wasn't really changing anything. And that's when I decided to create the Black Agenda. So for people that are out here talking, I want them to remember that their past is all on social media too. And we've seen that you've never been an activist starting small and working up to big. You've just been a businessman finding this lane or that lane. And so I would advise people to shut up because everybody's information is out there in that sense. Also, you brought up something about the friendly fire, right? And this is what I was upset about because when it first happened, let me tell you, the conversation went on in my living room. Didn't nobody know what happened. They didn't know how it happened. All I know is they said you shot 3 of your people. I heard that the white boys was there with y'all and they shot 3 of your people.
You're going to get it on your show. No. I'm going to do it on your show. I haven't done this anywhere else. I'm going to tell you my version of what happened because remember, it was a lot of stuff going on. And
wait. When you tell us that, I want you to know that.
Let me tell y'all, and that's what made this shit so funny to me. It's funny to me because I sat back and I laughed at all of these experts running out telling the story, and the story got worse as it went. First, it was 3 people got shot by 1 bullet. Then it was 3 people got shot and 2 was in the ICU. Then it was I was in the ICU, right? And I got shot, right? Shit was fucked up. And I'm sitting there like, Lord have mercy. None of y'all was there. The people who were talking weren't even allowed to be where we was. So they was across the street trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. So let me break the whole thing down. Because the shit is like, and then for NBC to have to come out and recant the story, and then all of the people talking about, no, that's what I heard. Yeah, motherfucker, next time, check yourself before you repeat some shit because they took and blew it all out. And people were waiting for anything to happen. You understand what I'm saying? Because, remember, they didn't say shit about Stone Mountain. Okay? Stone Mountain was historic. They would not touch that because they couldn't find nothing wrong with it. But they was out there waiting for something to happen. But here's what I wanted. Let's go ahead and get into Louisville real quick. I'm going to lay the story out, but I'm going to let you know what actually happened. Okay? This ain't some fucking reporter. Matter of fact, Vice TV, if you ever read Vice magazine, they were actually with me doing a documentary. So I was mic'd up and there were cameras everywhere that y'all didn't see. And I can't wait for the documentary to come out so all you motherfuckers can sit there and look at your friend. Well, I mean, that's what I heard. It's like hour my ass. We don't want to hear that. You wasn't there. Here's what the fuck happened. So prior to us going down to Louisville, I opened up a dialogue with the government of Kentucky. I started with the governor's office the same way you can, and I worked my way down to the attorney general, and I worked my way down to the mayor, and I worked my way down to the chief. I went through the whole, because I wanted to know what the fuck was going on, and if I couldn't find out what was going on, we were going to have to pull up. And because I've run for the presidency, I know exactly who to talk to, who's working for who belongs to who put who in office to control who, and all the small town politics that go on at the bottom. So we didn't just march the fuck in. We came in with our brain first, and we politely let them know before we even came down that we have a right to address a grievance by the Black population. So we have a grievance. And the Constitution says that when you have a grievance, you can form a militia to get the answer. And when I explained that to them, they were like, oh, okay. They made a phone call to Georgia. And Georgia was on the phone like, yeah, the motherfuckers came in here about 1,500 deep. So I don't even, no, you want to do what they say. Okay, so we told them we was going to come down. But in the meantime, can I get some transparency? And anybody who does keep up and didn't just find out about this shit 5 minutes ago, you saw the first meeting online where I met with the mayor, the police chief, and all of them, and they had to explain to the NFAC what the fuck was going on. And it was a tap dance session. Everybody in there was telling me lie on top of lie and passing the potato. The people watching was getting pissed. The shit went viral, got like 27,000 views. The next time that I talked to them, they said, if you want to really know what's going on, you got to cut that shit out. We're going to bring you in, bro, but you can't be doing all that public shit. So I'm like, I'll be back, y'all. Let me go find out what the fuck is going on. So I go down and I sit down with them. And to be honest with you, it wasn't just the government. It was also all the activist groups. I got to send a big shout out to LeBron Lachey, who is the #1 coordinator of all the activist groups in Louisville. He brought everybody to the table, from the National Action Network to the Urban League to the NAACP to all the upcoming grassroots activist groups. I'm going to be honest, we kicked BLM out of the meeting. I told them I didn't want them to be a part of this. They got offended. I didn't give a flying fuck. Get out. On out. And they had an attitude. That's why they showed up. And y'all see them trying to march with us. We didn't tell them to come with us. They wanted to be a part of that shit so badly that they came out with that no justice, no peace, waving their bullshit signs. And we told them to cut that shit the fuck out. You annoying us with all that goddamn noise. And they were cool with that. But before any of that happened, we was already having meetings. And in those meetings, it wasn't about getting someone charged. It was about tell us what the fuck is going on, because to the rest of the world, it looked like y'all don't care. It looked like y'all don't give a damn about Breonna. So you get to tell us something. If you can give us something realistic, then maybe everybody would chill. But if you don't tell us something, we're going to have to pull up. And that was the real, and when they heard that, they were like, these motherfuckers serious. We went and got the permits and, and they were like, we want to do all of this shit. They were like, well, how many of y'all bringing? More than what we brought to Georgia? We coming through. So what they did was, and y'all remember, anybody kept up with me, I asked for the Attorney General to give me a call. That was it. Just give me a call, me and you, bruh, because what's going on? It's funny to me now when I look back at it because he played me. Y'all remember, he didn't call. He put out this bullshit ass statement that looked like somebody wrote it for him. And then that night, I had to go live and I said, I really don't want to do this. But I thought they would give us the benefit of the doubt. And I have to call for a national mobilization at the NFAC. We are coming to Louisville. When that shit got out, I'm letting y'all know they watch you live. They're watching this YouTube right now because they use it in their newscasts. When that shit got out and the word got back to them that these brothers are coming, then I got a phone call from the AG. Okay, the Attorney General wants to talk to you. Let's go ahead and have a talk, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody was on the goddamn phone. The mayors, people on the phone, the police chief, everybody getting on the fucking phone. Everybody now, because it got real. It got real for them, okay? And they wanted to know what our intentions were. And we let them know our intention is not to come tear up your city. Our intention is to get some transparency for the people. And when they heard that, they were, it's like a bunch of motherfuckers who were just ready to throw each other under the bus. I'm going to be real. That's all you want? We'll tell you what's going on, but they might have to cut into a few people. But they had already been doing that anyway. So I showed up kind of like, you and Tariq arguing and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know that you don't fuck with him. So if I'm okay, I'm going to try to be neutral. I'm going to throw it out there. Well, we're going to unpack it tonight. But listen, I went in, y'all been arguing. I'm not taking no sides. Just tell me what the fuck is going on. You understand what I'm saying? And when they heard that, then they wanted to tell me all of the stuff that was happening, all the moving pieces. And the more I looked at it, the more I began to realize that this was more fucked up than even they had told us. That there was a lot of moving parts to this that hadn't been completed yet. And when I saw that shit, I had to ask my man. I said, well, let me ask you, how long is it going to take you to wrap this shit up? Because y'all don't understand what they did. We went and beat up the attorney general. The attorney general was, hey, no, y'all got the wrong motherfucker. I don't even have the whole case. Well, who got the whole case? We back down here to the mayor's office. We go, so bro, where the rest of the case at? Our ass. We tired of that. Where is the shit at? So I gotta go make some phone calls. Do what you gotta do. So he finally coughs up the shit and gives it to the AG just last week. Think about it. The reason that he didn't give it to him because he didn't have at the same time that they raided the house on Springfield Avenue, which is where Miss Taylor was. They raided 2 houses at the same time because they were looking for both. They were looking for these cats in 2 places. Okay, so it's a whole lot of misinformation out there. Don't y'all believe all this about the dude was in jail and all of this? No, he was in custody 2 hours after they killed Brianna. Okay, they already knew they had screwed up. But when we started seeing all of this, who wasn't doing what, the FBI was like, well, you know what? We got to come in here and check this out. So the FBI gets involved, and we're not lifting up the FBI. We know about they fucked up ass and everything they've done to us with COINTELPRO and the stuff they're still doing to us now. Most of the rumors that's being started on social media right now are being started by FBI agents. That's their job, because y'all have to understand what the origin of the FBI is. Under this man, J. Edgar Hoover, y'all don't know this part. Most people don't. J. Edgar Hoover, when he was 24 years old, was put in charge of something called the Radical Division. Their job was to hunt down, prosecute, and arrest anybody whose political beliefs went against the U.S. government. So at the age of 24, this motherfucker was already knowing how to go get people that didn't sing the tune that they wanted Americans to sing. Now, that same individual is the one that cranked out COINTELPRO against all of the black leaders back in the 60s and so forth. So if you think they're not doing that shit today, especially with the rise of InFact and a few other people online talking like Mechee and everybody else, they watching every last one of y'all. So when y'all be answering all these, oh, he's just a troll. No, motherfucker, that is a real agent. That's what their job is. It is to disrupt. It's not to form a militia and try to protect their goddamn people. It's not out here
who really look like the agents when they causing division between things that are actually doing something for the community. I'm just tired of that word being thrown around.
Let me go ahead and say it. You ain't got to like the NFAC. You ain't got to rock with Grandmaster J. Just form your own goddamn militia and arm yourself. And do your own thing. We don't own the market on this shit. Matter of fact, I would love to see 25,000 motherfuckers over there doing their thing, and we 35,000 over here, and they 10,000. Do it. That's all I'm saying. Instead of all this goddamn lip service and sitting around talking about he's an agent. Fuck all y'all. We tight over here. We pulled up. Y'all seen our work. You seen the videos. And not only that, we pulled up so hard that the AG, he went ahead and issued a statement. Yes, I talked with Grandmaster J. Our talks were productive. When a motherfucker tell you that it's productive, that don't mean we were sitting there being boys. That meant it was a negotiation that ended with both of us walking away feeling like we felt comfortable with the results of the meeting. It was productive. But what happened, what y'all don't know, is he owed me a letter. I was supposed to read that letter on the steps of the courthouse. That would be what I would give to the people. And I kept calling him, yo, man, we here where the letter at? I ain't getting no answer. Yo, bro, you said you were going to give me the letter. What happened? When he didn't give me that letter, that's when he found out how intelligent I was. Because all that shit that I said I wouldn't tell them, I got my ass up there and I told the people because they had a right to fucking know. And then I said, you got 4 weeks, so we pulling back up in here since you think we playing with you. Right after that, 25 minutes later, he issued a statement. He did. He said, well, you know what? I'm working with Grandmaster J. We getting things done as quick as we can, and I'm not gonna take them. They are. They busting their ass right now. And I know they busting their ass because they give me little status checks because they really don't know what the fuck we gonna do. And so they try to make sure, look, give us something. Something needed to happen. Now that you got the case, now that you got everything you need, it is in your court now. You can't blame these folks down here no more, okay? The other thing I want to tell y'all is this. In those talks, when we came into Louisville, the police department, the state department, the state police and all of them, they were very concerned about this. So instead of acting like they do normally, they opened a dialogue with us. How can we facilitate this so it doesn't turn into a goddamn civil war? And basically what we told them was, well, we're coming to your city to exercise our constitution. We're coming to your city to exercise our right to open carry and to peacefully assemble. And you don't want to stand in the way of that. They said, no, then you have to make sure you treat us like you treat the Ku Klux Klan when they march up in this mother. That you're going to have to treat us like you treat like all those other, the alt-right when they come here. You're going to have to give us the same, afford us the same protections that you give them. Or don't protect us at all. Keep those other motherfuckers away from us so we don't end up having to kill them. And y'all seen the video. That's what they did. They told the motherfuckers, y'all seen the video? You don't want to go around that corner. But you go around that motherfucker. It's about 3,000 of those motherfuckers around the corner. Okay. And you heard what they said.
There was what, 3,500? That's part of why they were in the negotiation. You don't want to see 3,500 black people with guns knowing that every day more are joining. So what's the next formation going to look like, right? So that's power to get these people to have to listen and cooperate and give you something because they fear that, right? They're not fearing socks and pepper spray. I'm just saying, if y'all know what I'm talking about.
Here's what happened yesterday. You asked about the developments yesterday. So yesterday, and it's funny because they do stuff like I'm telling you, they watch you. They do stuff right behind us. So I went on my live yesterday and I devoted the whole thing to Brianna and dispelling certain myths that were out there and giving you all the details that I could release without jeopardizing the investigation. A lot of people tuned in for it. I know they was watching too. When the break came, my boy comes over and go like, yo, man. You know how your boy come up, yo. I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, man, listen. Before you go back on, I got some news for you. I had just told everybody that the judge would not release any other the calls, the logs, the autopsy report, nothing, because they didn't want to jeopardize the investigation and blah, 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 blah. During the break, they tell me they just went ahead and authorized the release of the records to the family for the wrongful death suit. I thought they wasn't going to release nothing, bruh. Y'all putting the pressure on them. Y'all keeping a spotlight on them. Y'all don't understand something. And I said this last night. Yes, the FBI has been our enemy when it comes to black people, black power, and so forth. But what a lot of y'all have forgotten is that when they had the Civil War, it was the North against the South. It was the Southerners against the Northerners. The North won. Now, if there's one thing that white folks from the North love to do, is stick it to motherfuckers from the South who still functioning like they won the war. Louisville is one of those towns that's 20 years behind the time. They segregated comfortably. They old white rich people still in power. Brothers down here suffering unless they kissing some ass. Those motherfuckers that came down from the FBI, all those northern motherfuckers be like, no, fuck y'all ain't. They coming in here to shut shit down. They have no problem putting their own people in jail because it's not about black, white, and Brianna. It's about northern southerners like y'all talking about the South gonna rise again. Not if we got anything to do with it. Those are kind of motherfuckers they sit up in there. That's why they taking their time to do this shit because they trying to lock up a bunch of them, not just the cops. In the meantime, the brother that's sitting in the attorney general seat, you need to know about him. See, y'all don't understand the politics behind this. He's a brother, yes, but he was put there by Mitch McConnell, who is the Senate Republican majority leader. He's Donald Trump's best friend. Oh, he's a strong racist, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He doesn't like the current sitting governor, who's a Democrat. So he put this boy in place before he left to be a thorn in his goddamn side. No matter what this man does that's for the good of the state, he's going to override that shit because his boss is sitting up in D.C. cutting your tongues up with Donald Trump. Now, when all of this shit broke out, you would think that the racist guy wouldn't have us there. But he knew it would make the governor look bad, so he told his boy, give them everything they fucking need. They gave us everything. They had us. They had the police working for us. I'm going to let y'all know. They had the troopers. They had this. All that shit was for us, not against us. It was for us. So that if anybody showed the fuck up, the order came from the governor. Let me tell you, Meek, how deep this shit was. When we went down there to Louisville, anybody who's been down there, the road to get there is one interstate. And normally it's hot as shit. There's cops every 10, 20 miles. There wasn't a cop in sight that whole day. There was no police anywhere. We did 100 miles per hour the whole way down that bitch. I'm not lying. So when we got down there, It was beautiful, y'all. Y'all missed it. They don't want y'all to see it. This is what it looks like when we have unity. See all these brothers and sisters coming together for one cause, and the neighborhoods came out. The streets came out. All the people who was working came out. Shit, even the black cops was sitting there like, you damn right. We even had one of our brothers got stopped. He did get stopped by a cop, and the cop said, where you going? He said, I'm going down to Louisville. He said, you going down there for that Breonna situation? He said, yeah. He gave him his shit back and said, we got your back. Go ahead. So there's a lot of people that know that some foul shit happened when it came to the death of this young lady. But when we got down there, for all of y'all who don't know what you're talking about because you was not there, the city was supposed to give us 4 blocks to do all of our stuff. 1 block to stage, 1 block to park our cars, 1 block, to form up, and then 1 block for registration. Because you had to go through, you had to sign paperwork and get your shit checked and all of that. You didn't just walk the fuck up out there like they want you to believe. But what we didn't want, pardon my language, and anybody get offended, you couldn't just walk up with no camera, you was some white person and start taking pictures of us. We ran you the fuck off. That's why them people was across the street trying to report what the fuck was going on, because we didn't want them over there with us. We had everything under motherfucking control. We were doing our safety checks. And if we could have got to the person back there that brought their granddaddy shotgun, the one that did before they had safes and shit, he wouldn't have been there no way, but we didn't get to him. It was 94 fucking degrees out there. We had checked about 500 people. And let me tell y'all what the checks were for all you gun experts out there. First thing we learned from the shit that they said about us in Stone Mountain. First thing we did was made you show us it was a real weapon. Then we made you show us that it was unsafe. Then we made you show us that you had on body armor with plates. Then we made you show us that if you had a pistol, it was locked in a holster. You had to do all of that shit. Then we had to look you in the eyes and make sure you wasn't nervous as fuck. If you got past that, then you was approved to be out there. But we didn't get to the motherfuckers in the back. So when it got hot and the motherfucker collapsed and dropped his weapon and the bitch went off and hit the cement, it was my medics that got to them. It was our people who protected that scene. If you notice, the police came, shit was already under control. And what they won't show you is when I came back up on the scene, because I had just stepped away to break, because we about to leave. It was time for us to go. We was about to leave. When these motherfuckers showed up and had their little incident, we showed up. I am commanding. Y'all didn't see that. I established the yellow tape. I told those guys to go to the hospital who didn't want to go. I ran that whole operation. It wasn't that big a fucking deal. Wasn't nobody ready to go home. All those Black Lives Matter motherfuckers that showed up, we said, you're not with us. You're not a part of this. So get the fuck out of here. That's why they were sitting across the street talking about they were ready to go home, because they couldn't attach themselves to what we was doing. And then after they had the little incident, that shit was over. 10 minutes later, you seen the video, we got in the street, we got set up, and we went down to the city hall. We got down to the city hall. I gave a speech. And then at the end of that speech, then we got back and we went back where the fuck we came from. And the whole streets came out. It was none but love and black unity. But they didn't show y'all none of that shit, because most of y'all, street motherfuckers got shot. That's all y'all motherfuckers was waiting on. Why? Because instead of getting behind something that's positive, instead of getting behind something that benefits us all, instead of you seeing past your own jealousy or your own insecurity or your own ignorance, you jumped on that fucking train. And then look what happened. The white boy came out and said, nope, we over-exaggerated. Wasn't a shooting. Half y'all still running around saying that shit. Half y'all still feeding into that. Let me say this, Mechee. Half of y'all are buying into bullshit on purpose.
Because white people say it. You know when they say stuff, it's go, right? So when they say it, we run with it. And I want to, first of all, I want to tell the audience, thank you for tuning in. It's 3,600 people over here. So do me a favor, y'all like this video, share this video, right? Subscribe, hit that notification bell. But let me say something to the people in the chat. There are a lot of folks that are saying some things. I want to tell my moderators, you can do what you want to do. You can hit them all up. If you say some smart shit tonight and you get deleted, I guess you can email me. Hope I see the email and unblock your ass. There's a lot of people in here tap dancing for Mr. Mink Slide. A lot of people are saying, Mechee, when are you going to say something? Y'all watch me talk live all the time. Grandmaster Jay is here because I want him to tell the story. I wasn't there. So I don't get to tell the story of what happened and what his organization is doing, what his militia has done. So he is here to tell that story. And there are people on here that are like, what, you didn't know? So I want to reiterate again what he said. Yes, he didn't shoot somebody. His people didn't shoot nobody. No white people didn't come shoot nobody. somebody passed out before they were checked in case y'all missed that. They weren't checked in for the formation. In the heat, they passed out from a heat stroke. Their old gun that they had hit the ground and the buckshots went off and it shot 3 people, okay? Nobody was in critical condition. So run and go tell that story. For all you old tap dancing, mix slider motherfuckers that Tariq sent you over here, go back and tell him that. Ask him when he gonna correct that shit, okay? Better yet, do me a favor. Go buy your old goon package. Put them socks on. And the next time you see a white supremacist, I need you to run down the street after them and defeat them with that pepper spray he's selling. Other than that, get the fuck up off my live with this bullshit, okay? So I hope that I've addressed all of y'all questions. Mechee talk a lot here, but I want him to talk about what happened there. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of things that people want to say, and I know he's talking about the white people, but I will tell you that all of the misinformation that I heard came from Negroes with platforms trying to dismiss what black people are doing to do something for us, right? So this is why we're here, to get those things correct and understood and to shine some light on the beauty and the power that was there. Because there's not another person putting their mouth on the NFAC that can go down there and have the FBI and the police and them turning over paperwork. Somebody said to me too, I saw y'all shit. Y'all know me to be watching. Shout out to all the donations in the chat. Y'all know I'm not gonna call y'all because we're in the interview. But just somebody sitting up here saying, do you believe? I seen your little comment. Do you really believe all this stuff he's saying? Mechee, come on. Yes, I do, motherfucker. Because you know what? I've been watching it. A lot of the stuff he's saying actually was on live. He had a live phone call with the people down in Louisville. He did it on live. So for those of y'all that don't watch and don't see what's going on, because you out here running your mouth based on what somebody else see and you don't do your homework, that's why you a dumb motherfucker now. You work for somebody else and clock in from 9 to 5 because you don't do your homework. You're not your own individual. You running around off what other people told you. So if you hear while the truth is in your face and it's being told to you and you still don't want to receive it, I'm gonna need you to just, go on and skedaddle your ass up out my live, okay? I'm tired of the division in the black community because none of you motherfuckers in the chat talking shit are white people. You're black. So get the fuck up and do something or shut your ass up. Because right now, none of y'all are doing anything but sitting behind a computer screen, typing, doing nothing, tearing down people who are. So I'm going to tell my moderators again, light these motherfuckers up. You can block whoever you want. You can warn them. You can do whatever. You can just go to straight blocking them. And if you say some dumb shit and you get blocked and you didn't mean it, you should watch your mouth tonight. Because I'm tired of all the division. I'm tired of all the black people having something bad to say. Name none of y'all got up and done a goddamn thing, but y'all got so much to say about somebody that does. So shut the hell up. You ask me, do I believe it? Do you believe all the bullshit you keep hearing about him? Go on and file your receipts and do your research and believe what you want to believe. But when you get left in the dust, I remember y'all names. Don't now none of y'all motherfuckers come back talking about, oh, that's what's up. Y'all really doing the work. I remember y'all names. I'm going to say, nah, remember all that shit you was talking? You won't be able to ride with Mechee. Bring your ass to the black agenda, all that shit you talking. You can stand outside with the white folks that I don't let in. Okay, so this is what I want to say to the rest of y'all. Now we're gonna continue this conversation. I'm again gonna let Grandmaster Jay answer some questions because y'all hear from me all the time. We're here so that we can hear from him and get this information out there for those that may have not heard it. Because for as many people as you think have heard it, there's still those of y'all that are in the chat that are surprised saying, wow, I did not know that's what happened when they said somebody got shot. So don't think that everybody has gotten the right information. And we're here to give you the right information. It's your choice if you want to be a dumbass and keep following the haters or if you want to listen to the truth. That's completely on you. But you might have to be a dumbass somewhere else because y'all know that's my pet peeve. I don't do stupid people. With that said, thank you for joining the live. Please like, subscribe, and share. Grandmaster Jay, can you please, now talk to me. I know that yesterday there was some things you were speaking on your live about, some stuff that has come to the forefront with this case with Breonna in the courtroom. Do you want to speak any to that you spoke about on your live last night?
I would probably not, because of the fact that some of the things that I talked about last night, they have been talked about by the Attorney General today. But what I will encourage anybody to do is just jump on over to my YouTube channel and watch and take a look at for Breed, part 1 and part 2. They're actually posted because there's a lot of information I put out last night. There were 8 myths that I dispelled last night that were put out that are lies that are going around. Everything from she was killed in bed, which is a lie. Everything to they had the wrong house, which was a lie. All these are lies, y'all, that we dispelled those with documentation from looking at the reports and so forth. a lot of lies, a lot of things, even so far as to say that you keep seeing the lie repeated that she was an EMT worker. She was not. She was a part-time EMT worker, but she worked as an assistant in the ER in 2 hospitals. That's ironic that the woman worked in the emergency room for 2 hospitals and she died in a situation where she needed an emergency room, not an EMT that comes in the ambulance. So there was a lot of information we put out, but the most significant information that we put out yesterday was the change that they were not going to release any of the records and so forth. And the fact that the biggest change was that the FBI shifted their focus of their investigation. And this is something that was a direct result of our being involved, because at first they were only there to investigate civil rights offenses that may have occurred in the case of Brianna with regards to the mayor and so forth. No, they said, no, there's too much other stuff going on here. And these guys have shook the tree so much. Now we're going to investigate this murder ourselves. And once that started, now everybody, the temperature got turned up. So we put that information out last night also. Also, there was a lot of discussion and a lot of information that came out with regards to there is a group of people, a group of lawyers from Georgetown University. This is not some legal agency. This is a group of, and y'all keep the racy always be racial. Why do you think INFAC had to be formed? INFAC didn't have to be formed because of us. INFAC was formed because of us and them that keep attacking us. So again, when I talk about the status quo, don't get mad if you're not the ones empowered to do this. There is a group from Georgetown called the ICAP, the ICAP. And what they are is a group of lawyers that got together and they go around to certain cities wherever there's been some type of racial trouble, and they try to advise the government on how to limit the response of the public, how to limit your First Amendment rights, how to limit your Second Amendment rights. This is the same group that went to Charlottesville after they had the alt-right disaster where people got ran over with cars and they were fighting and whatnot. They were the ones that went and actually helped them put legislation on their books that prevented anyone from coming to their city ever again armed. Well, that same group reached out to the mayor of Louisville and said, you need us to help you put some legislation in place so no more militias can come into your city, trying to stop us from coming back. Now, these people ain't got nothing to do with Kentucky. They just called up and offered their services for free. And if you all don't understand what they're doing, what they're basically saying is, we want to help you come up with a way that you can violate their Second Amendment rights. So you can violate their First Amendment rights. When we heard about that, our response was, if you do that, we will drag you all the way to the Supreme Court. If you want that kind of attention and we have nothing but time, we will drag Louisville all the way to the Supreme Court to try to fight something like that, which is a clear violation of our constitutional rights. Here's the flip. The flip was, when you examine this organization, they're the same organization that wrote the book for the United States military to go into other countries and do the opposite. Build militias, hook the militias together, and then empower them to overthrow the government. Yet over here, they're telling people how to do the opposite, how to take the power from the militias so they can't band together to overthrow the government. So that came out yesterday, and the mayor, even though he got the phone call from them, instead of him answering the call, he politely let one of my people know that, you know, your man put me in a terrible spot. Why is he going at me like this? I'm not going at you like this. I'm going at the truth like this, because you're part of the reason that we don't have people charged. You're part of the reason why they didn't have the case. And then for you to entertain some people about how to shut us down from coming back, of course I'm gonna bring that out. That's not me getting on your case. That's me telling everybody the status of the case. That's what came out last night.
Well, thank you for sharing what you did. And as he said, go follow Grandmaster. Tell them where they can follow you on your platforms really quickly, since we brought that up. And you guys can go over to his Instagram and watch the video that he did last night on all of that information, which was much more than he just shared.
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube channel, the official Grandmaster J. That's where a lot of my stuff is landing now. Or you can only find me on Instagram at the official Grandmaster J, and that's only for another 2 weeks. I will be leaving Instagram and Facebook and all of these platforms in 2 weeks. I'm done with them. A lot of people are eating off of my videos, and I don't mind y'all republishing my stuff, but I'm watching whole groups of people that are actually copying this stuff. So we're going to go away. I'm going to a private platform, and I'll be trying to take as many of my 100,000+ followers with me that want to follow. And if not, that's cool. Y'all stay over there, because that's become the ghetto of the internet. But for the time being, you can find me on IG. You can find me over here on YouTube. That's about it.
Well, let me ask you this. I heard somebody ask you this, and the DJ that you spoke with, and a couple people put it in the chat, put it like 5 times, the same person. He wanted me to ask you this. So they keep saying, please, I disagree with them. I heard your approach too when somebody said the same thing to you, but you being the leader of this, that there should be another spokesperson or somebody that should speak for you and you should somehow be hidden to be protected. I disagree with that, but I would like to know your approach to that. I feel like this is your vision. Nobody will present your vision the way that it has been given to you. And when you have somebody up in the front, that's the front man, and that's what I would call some fake shit, if you ask me, versus letting the authentic person who has been given the vision to carry it. Now, you definitely should be protected. You should definitely have those that are around you, because the truth of the matter is, if something happens to Grandmaster Jay tomorrow, this thing is a baby and it hasn't gotten where it needs to go. But I appreciate what you did say, because it's the same thing I've said, that we have to kind of take people and train them and be able to push them to the forefront. But it takes time to do that, right? The right people who you can trust, who you can implant the vision to. Because real people who want to get free, we don't hog it all to ourselves. We just have to find the right people to be on the same page with us. But if you want to answer that question, they want to know why you don't let a spokesperson or somebody else speak for you. I think that's ridiculous, but
thank you. It's two reasons, and let me address that. First, and I've seen some people say this, they'll say, InFact's a great idea, but I don't think Jay should be leading it. Pardon my language, you stupid fuck. InFact came from my mind. Yes. InFact was put together by me. InFact was financed by me. The mission and the goal of InFact, based on what I was seeing, was crafted out of all of the years of the shit that I went through for the last 60 years by me. So the only person who is the spokesperson for InFact is me, because it is my creation. I don't need anybody else to speak for me. I don't have to hide behind anyone. But the fact of the matter is, because we learned all of our lessons from COINTELPRO and Operation Black Messiah and all these sneaky ass bastards right now, they look at me. No, I'm not readily accepting everybody that says I want to be down. This isn't how can I be down from back in the day. So until someone comes along that I can groom enough and keep close enough to me enough, and I can investigate enough so they don't turn out to be an FBI paid informant like the one we caught down in Georgia, out to be the granddaughter of a certain religious leader that implanted his daughter inside of our, until we get somebody that I can close my eyes, turn my back on, it's not going to pervert and try to hijack. In fact, the same way they hijack BLM, you're never going to hear anybody else. Because like I said, you can form your own organization. We're all trying to get to the same goal, but no one is going to drive this organization. That's how I've managed to grow it. That's why I have more than 12 or 25 members. That's why we're in the tens of thousands right now, because I'm driving the mission that was given to me for me to take forward, not to give to somebody else.
I agree. I agree. I think it's a ridiculous question. I think that when you find movements that got a spokesperson that's being told what to say, it's not their genuine passion. It's not something they're doing from their heart. It's some rehearsed shit. That's fake to me. That's something that I don't ever want to see. Let me say this too, as far as myself, I'm sure that it's the same thing with you. When you're given a vision, for my people who watch me know I'm not a religious person. Doesn't mean that I don't believe in the creator, that I don't believe in God, right? It just means my walk getting the guys a little different than some folks' religious beliefs. But when the creator gives you a vision, nobody else can carry out that vision but you. And this is why I laugh when some people would say to me, well, why do you divulge certain things you're doing? I can tell you what we about to do to a certain extent in the Black agenda, because you will never be able to take it and perform it like I could. Also, I would say this, the vision that the creator gave you, he gonna protect you. A motherfucker should mind coming after you, because when they come against you, they don't understand they're coming against the creator and the ancestors, and they'll get their ass whooped before the fact that they come against you ever comes to light. So people should be careful if they think they're gonna do something to you, because until it's time, the giver of the vision will not allow that to happen. And that's my perspective and how I take it.
I'm agreeing with you 110%, because most of these so-called learned people keep forgetting that every significant character in any scriptural story was a jacked up individual. They weren't these perfect, floating around the room people. Moses was a murderer. Jacob had baby mama drama, okay? Noah was a drunk. These are the people that he chose to. So when he decides to take the unusable to do his perfect will, you should just appreciate that, because none of us None of us is above fault. And everybody sitting around being judgmental like you ain't got a goddamn past. Like you don't want us to put your shit on blast. But I keep telling people, you don't go through life looking through the rear view mirror. You go through life looking through the windshield because what's coming ahead of you is greater than the bullshit that's behind you. And if you're still looking in the rear view mirror, don't get mad when you look up and you don't know where the fuck you at. Because right now, you're in a different fucking season. The world has changed. The people have changed. And if you starting to look real silly all by yourself on that hateration shit, we're going with or without you.
And nothing a motherfucker do gonna stop it. So you can get out and lay down. Let me say this. And making that comment, let me ask you this then. So I had some people today send me a video and I laughed because they wanted to know what I thought about it. And they played a couple of clips like they do with some half, baked shit and don't tell the whole story. But there was a clip of you, the last one, and they was like, is he threatening to kill Black people? And you were saying that as the leader of the NFAC, what if you was to give the word and tell them to start getting in the ass and taking care of these Black folks that keep speaking against y'all because that's about where you at. Well, let me say something. I would like you to speak on that because it was more that was around that. But I want to say and clarify what I heard. I didn't disagree with that. Let me tell you why. Black folks are enemy just like white supremacy can be. Y'all seem to be more dangerous to me. You know why? Because you can hide in your Blackness and we don't even know your ass is the enemy until you've already done what you came to do and the damage has been done. So y'all know that my idea of unity don't mean I got to get along with every single Black person. There's some Black folks right now that's causing so many problems. If y'all tell me my energy ain't here, I wouldn't give a damn if they fell out and died tomorrow. I would probably be glad because that means we don't have to deal with all this opposition from another Black person. I get tired of the bullshit. Let me tell you right now, Jay is pissing off white people. As much as I sit on my platform and talk, white folks don't get as mad at me as Black folks do. You got white folks coming over and get mad at me. You know you're doing something right in the Black movement when you got white folks that's really angry at you. And that's where we at right now when it comes to the NFAC. But most of the backlash that I get come from Black folks. And some of y'all, when I see you, your color don't make you my kinfolk. Some of y'all my enemy too. So I'm not mad at what he said. And before people start to be judgmental about that, y'all should shut up because we'll kill a Pookie and a Ray Ray in a minute for nothing over some damn sneakers or a look or you was with my baby mama or whatever or a color or something else. But at the end of the day, you mad if I'm talking about taking out a Black person because you are destroying a movement or trying. Because remember, what we talked about a minute ago, you can't destroy what the Creator does ordain. So when you're trying to do something and get in the way, why should we look at you or give you any mercy because you the same color as us? Just like in the movie Django. When he lit that house up, guess what? That old Coonan, Sanborn house nigga got blown up right in the house with the mess. So as much as y'all love white people, for those of y'all that know who you are, that claim you don't, but your actions show you do, because you're always trying to tear down Black people, but yet and still, you ain't got no heat for no white person. I'm sick of you motherfuckers too. I'm sick of you motherfuckers too. So I want you to speak on that, Jay, because they said you were threatening to use the NFAC to start killing Black folks.
Let me dive into that real quick because I like how all of these Black folks today like to act like, or maybe they're not acting, are not students of history. When I use that terminology, I always let you know, I say, remember Haiti. Remember what the Haitians did. Before they got their freedom, they killed every Black person that was loyal to the crown. So when they went to the French for their freedom, there was nobody in the crowd talking about, well, wait a minute, let's talk about it. We should reason with them. Man, fuck that. You're not going to have that. All you comical ass motherfuckers sitting up on your a lot of you are too uneducated to comprehend. I said we would file paperwork with the World Court and declare ourselves a country. Since you can't pay reparations to a color, you have to pay reparations to a country. So we have to file our liberation first and declare ourselves a fucking country. Even if we're all still here, we're a nation within a nation. And then because of that, we can then declare ourselves political prisoners and they have to do something for us. Not the United States. The World Court will tell them they have to do something. And since y'all don't study international law, you don't realize that either A, they have to give us some land to be our own place so we can develop ourselves. I use Texas as a motherfucking example. You raggedy ass, no non-political knowing motherfuckers. And then if they ain't gonna do that, which we know they're not gonna do, then they have to not stand in our way when we exodus. this country. And I know a lot of you black folks would fight us if we tried to leave. If 25 million black folks said, fuck it, we want to leave tomorrow, and we will facilitate that, some of you Negro boys would turn around and try to stop that shit. And to stop that, we would already have identified who's with us and who ain't, and we will kill your ass. That's what I meant.
Absolutely. Because everybody are coming out with us. Let me remind you too, why everybody be speaking on the ancestors and oh, how great they was. I want to remind you that Harriet Tubman would have shot your black ass too. And she's on the Underground Railroad, and had you got halfway talking about, I think I'm gonna go back, she would have killed you before she let you go back, because you would have went back and told Master with your scary ass what the route was, where the people were, and you would have put everybody in jeopardy. So it's called the greatest good for the greatest number. We'll get rid of your ass if it means before we let you take out 100 or 1,000 of us with your damn stupidity. So while we honor our ancestors, and we always talking about the people who ran towards the revolution and our freedom before us, be mindful that they felt the same way, some of them. So please don't take what people say out of proportion, because some of y'all Negroes, y'all just too in love with white people, and y'all are an enemy. And at some point, some of y'all might have to be treated the same way as the enemy. And I feel the same way. So if anybody who want to take that to heart, that's your problem. It ain't ours.
And let me add this last piece, Mitch. Let me add this last piece. I'm watching the comments here also. Somebody said, and what army does the world court have? See, again, you're speaking from a place of ignorance. Once a country has been liberated and declares itself political prisoners, there is a treaty that 55 countries have already signed that they will assist any birthing nation in the establishment and the liberation of itself. The same way the United States goes into other countries and picks some struggling people and give them bombs and missiles and trucks and choppers and all that shit and make them become a freedom fighter to get them about the country, there is a treaty that's already been signed by mostly the African countries and some other countries that said that if you ask for our assistance, we will help to liberate you. The United States does not want that.
They don't. Well, you know what? They need a Negro. We talked about that. No matter what the color is, because you know, black is race. It's a social construct they put on it, right? There's no such thing as a black race, a white race. They constructed that. It's a social construct. Right? But they gotta have a nigga. When I say a nigga, I just mean a group of people who are on the bottom that they can experiment on, they can do vaccines on, they can give them sicknesses so they can fill the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies, they can fill the prisons off your back, make you work for free. This is what they do, right? And so we are worth more than we think. Even if you just a little broke, little 3-year-old black boy in the hood growing up and people tell you never gonna be nothing, their eyes on the fact that you're gonna turn into a slave legally later from the school to prison pipeline to the prison. So there always has to be a system of niggas. So understand the immigrants come in, they don't want to be the nigga, so they gonna look down on us too because they just don't want our position, even if they feel a little oppressed. They don't want to be as oppressed as us. So it's always a battle of us alone against everybody else, right? So you're right. The country is never gonna look at it in that manner. They would never want us to leave because they dollar would leave. The most valuable thing they have is black folks, whether they want to admit it or not. It's the thing that keeps this country going around financially and everything else. And so, you know, they're not going to let us do that in that vein. They don't want to see us in that manner. So, with that said, I want to, ask you a question about the NFAC. You know, you got this vision, and you don't mind when you look now, because when you have a vision, I know you see it out to the end. So I won't ask you the end because I'm sure the end of that vision is freedom. But where do you see the NFAC and Black people 5 years from now?
Long term, I'm glad you asked that. We have adopted Chancellor Williams' master plan model for nation building. 5 years from now, and if everything goes according to one plan or the other, again, I can't predict which way the United States is going to go. But within 5 years, we should already be that well down the way of building the infrastructure of an ethno-nation in land that's been granted between two countries that we're talking to right now. I won't tell you what those countries are because y'all don't know how to get behind anything and be positive. You always look for the negative and you look for a way to tear shit down. So you'll have to wait for that. But in 5 years, where we see the NFAC would then metamorphosize from being this militia that's within the United States, which we're now internationally affiliated, that has chapters all over the world already, to becoming the backbone of the military that will support the ethno-nation, that will facilitate our exodus and shore up our country once we start to build it, building out a full military. That is the long-term goal for the NFAC. As far as Black people in this country, we have to make a decision and a choice because the rest of the world is already making the choice. The rest of the world doesn't have a problem forming one central organization that will do the following, that will help to determine what the top 5 priorities are for the Black race. And yes, we have to consider ourselves separately because we have a separate situation. Though the race may be a construct, the only way out of it is to actually think along the lines of the construct. Once that plan is in place, then we can decide where we need to focus those energies, especially with the building of our own independent nation. We should be well under the way for that in the next 5 years. But we also will probably have identified who the hell is staying here and who the hell can't go and who the hell we need to kill and who the hell is going to get in our goddamn way.
Absolutely. At the Black Agenda, I always say we have 3 phases of the plan. We don't tell you what that is. You got to come behind closed doors to hear what it is. And we don't allow anybody that's not Black in. But we haven't divulged the 3rd phase. And I always say by the time we get to the 3rd phase, I'm sure there's a lot of those that are with us in the first that will not be there in the last phase. For whatever reason, they're going to fall off. They're going to say, wait, this is a little bit too much for me. I was okay with phase 1 and 2, but I don't know about 3. You know, everybody not cut out for this life. It's going to take a whole lot to get free. And it's not going to be some, you know, made up for TV movie shit. It's not going to be pretty. And it's going to be hard work. And it's going to be a lot of lives taken and a lot of lives lost if we want to be honest about it. So everybody I know is not ready for that, you know. But I am, and obviously you are. Let me ask you this question. Now, we know that the NFAC has a lot of you know, people in there that are military and are already trained. And I know that this is your baby and it's just being born. So it got to get some, you know, some, this is walking, it got to get to running and jogging and all that good stuff too. But are we going to get to a point where there are people that can say, look, I don't have, you know, felonies. And I know you help people get those taken care of if they can get off their record to get their right back. We also have somebody that we can refer people to if you need that information. But for those who are like, look, I've never had a gun. I'm going to go get a gun. I can have the right to have one. I want to get some training. Are you going to be setting up training for those that would like to come in and be a part and don't have those prior skills at some point?
We have already started that already. And it's funny because the incident that happened down in Louisville kind of highlighted it because we were already moving in that direction. As a matter of fact, we were also moving in the direction of modifying who could apply. And since we're working with some other gun clubs and allowing some of their members to be a part of our organization, we also have to extend those standards to them also, because we can't control what you do in another camp if you're going to come over and participate with us. But yes, the training, as a matter of fact, it's interesting you mentioned that. I think his name is, you told me about the guy, Major Tory, Black Guns Matter, reached out to us and said that they wanted to actually get together with us and do a training seminar on gun safety, and that we film the whole thing and do this whole 9 yards. And I let them know that we've already got the training already set up, and they're more than welcome to come out and participate with us and so forth. But that's actually, let me caution you on something. People who've never had a gun before, who can't even understand why they need a gun, you see, that's mental. We can't train you to understand why you need to defend yourself. That's something you have to cultivate within yourself. As far as you purchasing a weapon, you know, yeah, we can talk about that, but you have to understand you got to get what's right for you. But being proficient with the weapon so that you don't make mistakes like what happened out in Louisville where somebody just passed out and then realized you got an old shotgun. Don't you know if you drop that, that's going to go off? Okay, or people, and I'm so glad, let me say this while I'm on your show. There's a videotape going around where I took an old M16 and banged it on the table and the bolt came forward. There's so many experts that are showing you that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. There are a lot of people in the military that will tell you that it does happen. I've witnessed 2 deaths personally myself at Fort McClellan, Alabama in 1989, where someone didn't have their finger on the trigger. They banged the weapon on the ground 2 times and it blew their fucking head off. In basic training, that is what we're taught never to fucking do. So I don't know where all these geniuses come from that want to show you that I can reach for a weapon, just like I got one of my little babies right here. I can bang this all day, but I guarantee you, if I bang this motherfucker with this under my head and it goes the fuck off, I'm not going to be able to think about it again. Accidents happen. All weapons can be banged to make off and banged enough. But at the end of the day, that's part of training. That's part of being responsible with firearms. And that's why we had no incidents at Stone Mountain. Same procedures, same safety checks. But in this particular case, we allowed other people to join us and they hadn't been checked. Our training is what prepares you for not just to learn how to shoot, move, and move on, and communicate, and move on out, how to be a responsible gun owner. They acted like safety was not something that's big with us because they want to highlight that, because they want to attack what the brothers and sisters are doing. They don't want to lift us up, but they don't say shit about these other people when their training is not reflected. The military is highly trained. The Marines train all day. They killed 8 people today. The Army is highly trained. They blew 9 people away in a tank yesterday. They're highly trained. People pass out every day. You've seen the picture of the honor guard guy who fell out, nobody helped him. Happens to the best of us. It's hot outside, y'all. And as I said before, training is available to anyone who wants to actually be pointed to or connected to our network of people. When it comes to felonies, we have assisted so many people. All those people you see out there with us, you know damn well a lot of them had felonies, okay? But if you had one felony and we can get your rights restored quickly, that's easy. Some of y'all got some complicated cases. Some of y'all actually have your rights restored and don't even know it because you got what's called a CERB form and you didn't know what to do with it because they're good at telling you when you lose your rights, but they're not good at telling you when you get your rights back. Some states, your rights are restored to you automatically after your first felony. If you've done all your probation and your restitution is done, you got your rights back. If you can vote, you can go and try to buy a gun. The problem that a lot of people are running into today, because we're all buying weapons now, is that they go into the gun store and they run this background check on you with the FBI and they tell you that you wasn't approved. And you were like, well, I ain't never did shit. I'm clean. I'm this, I'm that, and the third. That shit was 25 years ago. Here's the problem. And this is something that people who deal with this know about. The database in the FBI is not updated when they update their things for you in the court. You got to tell the court to update the FBI database, or some shit that you've done that's been expunged from your record still sits in their database, and that's the database you're checked against when you go to buy a semi-automatic weapon, okay, or you try to buy a handgun. So those are things that we teach people. So there's always teaching, but there will be these instructions, these sessions of instructions. Now, we do have a facility that we bring out entire chapters for a weekend, and we put you through training, and then you get certified in that. That has to be coordinated. But every chapter that's established in every place is tasked now to conduct your training, provide us with the documentation from the training, and no one going forward is allowed to participate in our formations if you can show proof that you're tactically proficient with that weapon.
Well, to answer my question, I know that you have to go because you are the man at the moment and everybody wants to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to have to let you go because I got to share you with so many other people. So I know that you have another show that you'll be on tonight. Please tell everybody where they can go and watch that show as well. And then after that, if you will just simply leave all of the Black viewers with 2 or 3 things as individuals that you would suggest they start to do in their lives to move towards freedom. Whatever you think that is, you should be doing.
Answer that part first, and then I'll answer the short part. Okay. 3 things that right now, given the season that we're in right now, that everybody needs to be doing is if you don't own a firearm, you need to go and buy one. Start with a shotgun, then a semi-automatic, then the handgun. The reason I say that is the handgun is the hardest to get. And that way, if you can't get a handgun, at least you got something in the house to defend yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing is become very, very educated in your rights as a gun owner and how they apply to your home and how they apply to having them on your person and how they apply to your interactions with law enforcement. But the last and most important thing that I would encourage everyone to do is start paying attention to each other. Don't just drive by on this, I'm minding my own business. This I'm minding my business shit has gotten ridiculous. If you see the old cops got a brother hemmed up, you can slow down and see if the brother's all right. He can talk. He's not a prisoner yet. You can, bro, you all right over there? Y'all got to start looking out for each other. Start looking out for our neighborhoods. It's supposed to be your hood, then make it a neighborhood. Get to know the people that's around you. Even if you don't want to, you don't have to be all in their business, but knowing somebody don't fit in around your neighborhood, so we don't have things like sex trafficking and kidnappings and all this shit happen. And last but not least, don't be afraid to police the police. That culture is broken and they know it, but they're not going to replace it. They're just going to pull it out and let chaos reign. Not if you start policing yourself. I'm going to leave you with this. The show that I was supposed to be on tonight, we're doing a taping for the Late Show. We actually did the taping before I came on here. They did it at 4 o'clock. Okay. It'll broadcast next Friday. I'll make sure, they say they're going to send me a commercial and everything, you know, so I can run it. And I'll keep you informed, Mechee X, I'll let you know. But I did the Late Show, and now I've got to go talk to the Washington Post. Because now they want to talk. They're really ready to give some mainstream coverage to what they're calling the NFAC, America's Black Militia. That's what they're calling us now. But you know, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, my sister. I know we're about to get in the streets. I'm about to do my recruitment tour. I know you're about to do the Black Agenda. I know we're gonna link that up together. I was invited to DC on the 28th of August for wherever this big, I guess, I'm not sure, this march on Washington they're having. I've been invited to be one of the speakers and so forth. I don't know if I'm going to accept that, but these are the kind of things that are happening because now they're interested in what the Black militia has to say. And I say this again, we don't have to be the only Black militia, but if you're not going to get out and form your own, keep them comments to yourself because we're trying to work for you. We're not trying to take none from you. We're not trying to hurt you. And if you are that opposed to us, then just wave your hand one more time so we'll write you down in the book of our enemies. That's just the way it works. That's keeping it G, as they say. My sister, I love you. Thank you for having me. And I hope that everybody got a chance to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Stop tearing down your own people. Y'all keep doing this. Every time we try to move forward, y'all tear us down. Then y'all want to call somebody an agent. Well, the agent is the one that's telling you not to go forward. Now, thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. I always enjoy talking to you. I want to thank everybody for joining this evening. Y'all please do me a favor, like this video, share this video so that we can dispel all the rumors. We share enough mess and madness. Share the positive stuff, you guys. You guys go ahead and, like I said before, connect with the NFAC, connect with the Black Agenda, connect with somebody. Just connect with them all, connect with somebody. But there are plenty of us out here doing the work. So just give us somebody so that you can put in that work. It's our job to get free. Nobody's coming to save us. We're our saviors in this. So I suggest you get with the program or quit complaining about where we are. We got to get up and do this for ourselves. So with that said, I want to thank all you for tuning in. Jay, I need like 2 weeks. I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm leaving next week. I need another week to get settled, but I will be talking to you soon because I'm ready to hop on the plan. We got to do some planning. I'm ready to get things rolling. And so I will talk to you soon, you know, and I will hopefully see you really soon. So with that said, you enjoy the rest of your evening, brother. And the rest of y'all enjoy your evening as well. And to all the haters, fuck y'all, don't enjoy your evening. We don't enjoy ours. So there you go. I included everybody. I ain't leave the haters out, right? I ain't leave y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you good folks later.
Shalom, my sister.
All right.